Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Elephant Podcast. And we will continue with What's Your Magic? And I am again speaking with Christine Morris, who is my collaborator on What's Your Magic? And we will continue our conversations. So, welcome, Christine. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Me too, Io. We've had a nice little extra break, and I've missed talking with you for sure.
Yes, just for the audience's knowledge, the break is because I broke my leg. It was a literal break. So I'm managing now. I'm okay. So in our last conversation, we started talking about authenticity and being your authentic self, and how the commercial world is, of course, making hay with this, trying to figure out how to make money with the whole issue of how to be your authentic self. But I thought we might start with a conversation about being authentic and what does that mean? And that's not something you can go to the store and buy.
Right? Yeah. Yes. I mean, that's such a big piece, right? I always go to kind of like our birth origins, right? We're born with a certain vibration, a certain signature vibration of who we are, what we're here to do, whether it landed well or not. And so we're wired for authenticity. We have this wired into us of like who we are, right? And then we spend a lifetime trying to figure that out, basically.
Right.
And and to a degree it's wired into us, and then like in an ideal world it would get nurtured out, right? Who we are. But with this authenticity on one side, really in our biology, like this energy is wired into our biology, but we're also wired for connection and belonging through our attachment to our primary caregiver. And in doing this, in doing our attachment, we have to let go of some of our authenticity, some of our natural responses to the world in order to connect, because our caregiver may not like how we respond naturally to the world. So we will get cues from their face of what's okay and what's not okay. So from in that first 2 years, which is a very mythic place, right? It's a very liminal, non definitely not rationally based, but it's a very dreamy place that we're having to forego, we're having to let go of these authentic impulses and responses and interactions with the world in order to fit into whatever our system is, our family system. And so right away we come into conflict with being authentic, but and in ways of belonging. Now, if we have a very safe and secure family system, then that will help authenticity come out. And in the bigger scheme of things, in more connective cultures, the wider, like non-nuclear family, non-Western cultures, probably, right. But the way it's more likely to for our authenticity is to come out is that our aunts and our uncles and our neighbors and whatever, those people that are not our parents and are not under the gun trying to raise kids, can see those authentic pieces in us and help us bring those back out into the world. But we don't have that well set up in society right now.
No, we don't. We do not. And also, authenticity is in our heart. It's a heartbeat. It's not something you can go up here and say, okay, who am I? What is my authentic self? The brain will take you down several rabbit holes on that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I was thinking about that, the primary care person. And for me, my mother, it was all about making me afraid,
Yeah.
making me afraid. And so it was from, she was trying to train me. It was dangerous to talk to strangers, dangerous to talk to people. And so I was pretty silent
Wow.
as a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
Um, until I was in Sunday school in I was 5 years old, and some kid in a class peed in his pants, and all the kids started laughing, and all of a sudden this booming voice came out of me, and I said, "Don't laugh at him. How would you feel if you peed in your pants?" And the teacher's jaw kind of dropped down because I was always like, nobody
Yeah. Yeah.
can hear me. But that was definitely my authored self coming out.
Yeah.
Um,
With a ton of empathy, right? That like what I'm hearing in that is like you're wired, we're wired for empathy too, some of us more than others. And that it was through that empathy that you could not handle the injustice really that was
right,
happening. Yeah.
exactly. Um, yeah, and we've heard that for the heart, it's either love or it's fear.
Mm,
And so how do we one recognize where fear is ruling our heart and break through that?
yeah. I mean, a fear response is separation.
Right.
And in from a nervous system perspective, it's going to be either fighting or fleeing or running away, like these things, like if there's a fight or a flee, or if we're just shut down, like I can't deal with it, I can't handle it. But when we're in a fear response, that is how we see the world. So this is where it gets really tricky from my perspective, is that we can't just pull ourselves. And I have clients like this that have just said, like I want to look for beauty, I want to look for awe, I want to look for these things that are, from a nervous system perspective, we would call them in social engagement, where we're in curiosity, we're in these states of awe, and we can literally feel them. But when we're in survival, we're cut off from them. We're in fear, we're cut off from them. So the first order of business is realizing where we are in
Right.
this. Like, are we in fear or are we in love? Because even, and I've had this too, places where I've been shut down in my life where I really want to find the love and the connection, and the, like, I have beautiful sunsets, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever, like I just can't feel
Right.
it. If I can't feel it, it's dead to me, and that's a very
Exactly.
strange world to live in. So we have to get biological safety in order for our heart to actually be able to come online and be interactive in the world. And our brain, just to your point, can't do it. Our heart is the largest magnetic field, the largest, holds the largest
Right.
energy field in our body. And that is the one, when it's cohered with our head, that is where we get into these I think they're called higher frequency concepts, right? Of love and
Right.
connection and curiosity and beauty. And they are literally different frequencies.
Absolutely. Very different. And it's first of all, it's a joy when you're in that frequency. uh and of course, it would be great to arrange our lives so that we can stay in that frequency. But the challenge is that we're in a world where there's so much fear.
Yeah.
So when you're with a group of people with all this fear energy, it's a challenge. And, I really work on trying to help people move out of that fear.
Yeah.
I mean, for them and for myself.
Right. And probably because you're so empathetic, so empathic, but so empathetic as well. like one of the things that can move humans out of fear really quickly and easy is to have an empathetic witness, an empathetic witness, somebody that can see us, where we're seen and heard and responded to appropriately, right?
Right.
And not, and I mean, that's situation dependent, but I suspect that's part of what you're doing when you're helping people move out of fear. You're
It,
meeting them.
it
Yeah.
really is about being able to listen to them without reacting,
Yeah.
without reacting. And it's not, there's a huge difference between empathy and sympathy.
Yes.
And sympathy is kind of condescending.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I really, it's a subtle line, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just really understanding we're on the same level. And I really understand what you're getting. I mean, I really understand it. I really feel it. It's
Yeah.
not, it's not like there, but for the sake of God go, what's the saying?
Yeah. There before the grace of God go I, or something like that.
No, like, thank God I'm not there,
Oh, right, right, right.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I, it's just, it feels like such a judgment of them
Yes.
when you
Yes.
think that way. No, so when I walk down the street, and there's a lot of homeless around, and I always smile and say good morning or good day. But I'm not, I don't have a lot of money, first of all, but I'm not, you know, handing out money because you don't know what, if that's really going to help them, first of all.
Yeah.
But whenever I do, they always say good morning. They always respond in a positive way because I'm actually seeing them and acknowledging their presence.
Yeah.
But yeah, how, I think how to get past our judgment of other people and our judgment of ourselves
Yeah.
has a lot to do with the process of becoming authentic.
Yes, I agree. And so, what I hear you saying in that is, to a degree, you're feeling with, like, that's more of the empathy version. You're feeling with somebody. You're not like, judging or whatever, ascertaining from afar. You're literally
Right.
feeling in some way, shape, or form, whatever level that is, the other person, and you're resonating with them to a degree. Now, one of the things that becomes problems for highly sensitive folks is we leave our own system and go over here to empathize with the other person as opposed to staying in our system and
Yes, that's
empathizing
the
from here.
trick. Yeah.
It literally is like a claim, like holding on to ourselves, not abandoning ourselves. And that I mean, that's a whole rabbit hole we could go down, but I think in terms of authenticity, that's like first order of business. Like, am I staying here in my own system? And for me, doing that, I will literally think of either my back body or my spine. So my consciousness and my awareness is literally here in my body.
Yeah, can't help feeling that this leg thing with me has really kind of forced me to really get back into that um centeredness in the body because I have to be
Right.
centered in in order to walk.
I mean, you're literally relearning things,
I'm
right?
relearning
Yeah.
everything, how to do stairs, how to walk
Right.
without limping. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
really interesting.
I
And
mean,
I've been a dancer most of my life, and I can't take that for granted anymore.
this midlife and elder years, they're no joke, right?
It's not a joke.
It's incredibly humbling, but it's also we get to rebuild in new ways too, but it is incredibly humbling.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, so part of, I think, really getting to your authenticity is surrendering, the process of surrendering to letting go of preconceived notions of who you are and understanding that maybe I don't know everything about who I am or why I'm here. And it's
Yep.
it's an interesting journey.
Yeah. And so in the surrendering, right there's it actually was very interesting. There's usually a voice in my head when anytime I hear the word surrender that goes, never surrender. Um, but
Exactly.
that voice didn't even come up this time. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But it is like a surrender to what? Because one of the things that can happen if we don't have some either location or some sense of something deeper in us, more primary and more foundational, we will kind of feel like we're being pulled apart,
Right.
right? Or something of that nature. It will be not integrating and deepening. It'll be a disintegration. It'll be disorganizing for our system.
Absolutely. And I like your point about staying centered while connecting with people. So it's almost like letting the magnetic field of your heart expand to reach that person
Mhm.
without leaving your own center, which is
It's a practice.
it's a practice.
Well, in terms of attachment style, I won't go too deep into it, but there's the secure, there's the tentative, which is uncertain, which is a lot of women are, and then there's the avoidant, and then disorganized, which we're not even going to talk about disorganized, but because it's a whole.
We're in it.
I know, right? But I my primary attachment style was tentative, the uncertain, because I had a mother that I didn't know what version of mother was going to show up. So is
Right.
it loving mother? Is it going to be the crazy woman with spit flying out of her mouth? I just never knew.
Right.
And and then so that sets us up for leaving our system, for always having to look outside and discern what's safe, what's not safe.
And figure it
And
out. Yeah.
and we're literally kind of going outside and like looking. We usually aren't staying in our body for this. We're just seeing what's happening around us and what we need to do to manage the conditions to stay safe, blah blah blah, right? And that's when our emotional needs have been met sometimes, but other times they haven't been met, so we don't know if we're going to
Right.
be met or not. But then the avoidant, so that's the attachment style, all has to do with emotions, not necessarily physical needs, but emotional needs. And the avoidant, their emotional needs were not met from the very beginning. So they became an island unto themselves. And at times I have been avoidant envious because while there's
Right.
set up with that's not good, right? Because they don't know how to ask for help and that kind of thing. Their system is more clear, like they're more solid and clear in their own energy system compared to tentatives
Right.
who can be very porous and have less boundaries.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah,
But they have a problem.
there's a problem in that too, right? So there can be security where you're like, that's what we want, right? Is to have the ability to stay within our system, but also be able to be in relationship with another person and feel safe enough to bring our self forward, our authentic self
Right.
forward.
But I find with a lot of people who have that, I mean, you do look at them and say, it must be nice to have that self sense that it's a presence that you really feel.
Yeah.
Um, but I
Yep.
find there's kind of an anger behind that, of
Hmm.
defensive anger.
Yeah. And
I'm not
underneath that,
taking any chances, you know?
absolutely. Yeah. It's protective, and you only get in so close with folks
Right.
like that. Yep. And you can feel that too.
Yes.
Yeah. And that for those of us that really feel into the self and other, that doesn't feel safe. Right.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
But
Security is how we bring authenticity forward.
so, yeah, but so the question is, what is it that makes us feel secure?
Yeah. I
And
mean,
we live in a world that says money
yep. Yep.
doesn't do it, folks. It
No.
really doesn't do it.
I mean, it does too. Like if you don't focus on money at all, right? And if you have none, like that's a big deal,
Right.
right? I mean, it goes to the hierarchy of needs and that type of thing. But it's not, I mean, it is the currency of our world, but it is not the be all end all. And you mentioned, like, I don't think it's in the recording, but you mentioned harmonize, right? And I don't know if this is a good place to bring it in, but I was rereading that Invoking Ireland, the Bringing Home Our Stolen Soul is the name of the song
Oh,
of,
I love that.
right? And it's talking about, so I don't know if it really fits with money per se, but it's talking about two ways of being in the world, of more of a brutish nature or more of a harmonizing and connecting. And they really talked about it in terms of song, like song and
Right.
harmonizing beings. So you can kind of club your way through the world, or you can harmonize your way through
There's a
the
lot of
world,
people doing that right now.
right? And that maybe that's the lead into the money piece, because that can be very brutal and very like dominating, and we get into social order and people kind of just bulldozing over other people to
Right.
accumulate things and stuff and status, which is the illusion of security, but it's not inner security. That's the only security that really is abiding.
Right. Exactly. Um, yeah, and I see it in, like, I'm really happy to see all these young people stepping up to run for political positions who are not, they're only taking money from small donors, etc. Um, but this something that just says, it's like we really need this much money by this time.
Yeah.
And so they're still caught up in that. And I don't know how we're going to change this, but it needs to be changed.
It does need to be changed, right? That goes back to citizen. We can take it to politics. It goes back to that Citizens United verdict, where they allowed money into politics, and that's where things just got
Right.
really. I mean, they were crazy before then, but they got really crazy then. And I honestly, like, one of the things that the way I'm feeling it, and in terms of connecting with my guidance or my higher self, it's that, and I think we may have talked about it somewhere. It's dropping back. It's dropping back, almost like slowing down out of the world and holding a vibration there, which does take it more into the mythic realm. It takes it into a wider space. It's less surface, and there's
Right.
more depth there. And one of the things I was reading in the book today, they were talking about how mystics, like as society is moving forward at a very fast rate, moving toward the future, mystics are actually slowing down and
Right.
dropping back and then gathering all of the gems of that society has kind of dropped and putting things together and connecting things. And it's that harmony to something deeper, right? And that deeper piece, I think, is a very interesting question, probably for another podcast of like, when we're talking authenticity, what are we connecting into? But I would put it very simply as it is our unique harmony. It's like our unique streams of harmony
Right.
that really make the song of who we are, because every action in our physical body is making a sound. So we really are walking symphonies, walking orchestras with these bodies. And when we allow, it's really more of an allow. I think that's what you're talking about with the surrender, allowing those unique
Exactly.
harmonies to be present, that they can come up and we can hear them and then bring them into the world or feel them or whatever our way of sensing is.
Yeah, I'm sure you have, and I certainly have had experiences where you actually experience that. You can feel it. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
you can feel the harmony.
Mm-hmm. It feels good and it
Yeah.
feels right, and there's a coherence to it. It's like it just is. Yeah, it's like a beautiful tune, and people talk about like the song of our soul or whatever. You sing your unique song, and that, like, I think we've been speaking to that across millennia, and we've forgotten a piece of it.
That's like when I used to do workshops, I used to start with toning. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if you've ever done that, but everybody starts kind of, it's not exactly singing, but you're
Mm-hmm.
singing out a tone, and then people start going up and down and exploring what their voice can do. And there's a certain point where everybody starts harmonizing, and it's so
Mm-hmm.
magical.
Wow, I love that. I love that.
But first you have to get them past the ego thing. Oh, I don't sing, or I can't. My voice isn't very good. Doesn't matter, folks.
No, and the singing and or the toning is it's so rich because that's a way to get in touch. Like if we have an emotion we don't know how to move, if we can make a sound that feels like that emotion will come up.
Right.
Um and and the toning and the singing is more primal and more primary to our thoughts and our words, and tones have an impact on our body, as you know.
Right.
And like I've found myself moving through the world this past week where I am like singing and humming and whistling and doing these different tones and variations, which just feels like I feel more in tune with the world. It's like I'll be singing to the plants as I'm watering. I'm just singing, and then I'm realizing like, oh, I'm singing to the plants, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So also, I was told that, because of the magnetic field, that when we're outside, we're leaving a trail of our heart energy, but we're also creating a pathway and I try to, when I'm walking, I try to focus on that, like just kind of sending it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it takes being at a conscious level all the time. And that's not so easy because otherwise I could cross the street and get hit by a car. So,
Right. It's holding those two vibrations, right? Holding
right,
that kind of deeper, more foundational, but also we have to operate in this superficial world where it is moving fast and a car won't see you because they're on their phone doing whatever they're doing most,
right.
right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep. But I think that what you're speaking to is like, and this is a practice that I've been doing for a few years now, but even like when I get to the market, to the grocery store, that I'm making sure that I'm in my system, I'm connected to my heart, I've got my energy up and down my system, and so when I interact with somebody else, that's already set, right?
Right.
And it has become a practice. And then there are times that I don't have that set and I really realize it pretty quickly. And I'm like, oh, let's
Right.
back up and do it. It's a practice.
Reel it back in.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
Let me
so
back out the door and start over. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
I know. But really being in the body is a wonderful instrument for teaching us how to be authentic, actually.
It really is, right? And the having the ego or the personality in service of the soul, in service of that deeper peace.
Right.
And then we have to know we have a soul or something deeper that's holding us in form, right? That's
Right.
understanding of soul. I love this definition. It's the vehicle that we move into to move through time and space to learn about love.
Right. I love that too. I also love your quote about what you're doing, something getting clearer every day.
Mm.
What can
Like on my website,
yeah, well, you said it on one of our podcasts.
I work with the relational nature of being human. That one.
Yes.
I work with the
Yeah.
relational nature of being human through body, mind, emotions, and energy.
Right.
And people are like, what?
Well,
And
just say it
yeah,
over and over again a few times, it'll register.
it is. Yeah. And it took me a while to understand because I was actually gifted that phrase by somebody who's really good at putting phrases together like that. And I was like, oh, because everything, like even when I did more structural body work, everything is about relationship.
Right.
There's no that's it. Everything is about
Well
relationship.
connected, folks.
We're all connected outside and we're all connected
Right.
inside. And all of these parts and pieces are working together, whether it's structurally, whether it's physiologically, whether it's energetically, like, and to have the harmony is what is necessary. And really, I think you said this earlier, to have the harmony, we have to move out what's discordant, what's
Right.
not harmonious. That's
So that's where discernment comes in. Okay, is this harmonizing with who I am, or is it discordant? And
yep.
it doesn't mean what's the word I'm trying to think? Doesn't mean about being exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the challenge. How do you be inclusive with discordance?
Right. Well, and so you can just let it be, right? We don't have to invite it in, but
Right.
it's like we don't have to try to eradicate it, except for
Right.
from me,
No.
from my field, though, if there's discordant energy that comes in, for me, what I'll do is like instead of like turning to the discordant, sometimes I will, but I'll turn to, okay, what is me? This is discordant. Whether it's me or not me, it doesn't feel good. So what is the part of me that can hold something deeper and be more clear and more true? And when we tune into that, which is a deeper, more clear, true harmony within us, then that kind of pushes out the discordant energy.
Um, yeah, but maybe the discordant energy is showing us something. I mean, I've found often that where I make a judgment about
Yeah.
somebody outside of myself,
Yep.
I start thinking, okay, what is this really telling me about myself? Some
Yep.
part of me that I don't want to recognize and deal with.
Yep. Now you're talking shadow. Now you're talking
Right.
shadow stuff, which is I love talking shadow. I tend to work in the shadows more
Right.
than in the light. I mean, I work in the that didn't sound right. Um, but I
But
like
it made sense.
yeah, okay, good. Yeah, because I work with the light that's it. I work with the light, but I have often found myself standing in the shadows, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Um,
Which is a lot of folks that work in the light do have, they are in places that have more shadows because
right.
they're bringing the light to that.
So when I was in Dharamsala and teaching English to Tibetan refugees, and I was exposed to the whole Tibetan mythology, etc. Um, but they have these beautiful paintings, and there's the ones that are beautiful, and then there's the ones that they call the wrathful deities. And
Mm-hmm.
I found myself more attracted to the wrathful deities. And so I asked this one of these holy men, I said, do you think I'm attracted to that? Because I feel like I need more of that energy. He just
Mm.
laughed.
He didn't give you an
He
insight.
just, that's what they do. They laugh at you. Oh, you
Yeah.
Western people.
Yeah. Yeah. So what, thinking about it now, what's your sense of that? Like if you were you in your wise years looking back to that part of you, what would you tell that part of you?
It's about breaking through my desire to break through uh, that darkness, because if I'm light and I'm going into the darkness and bringing light into the darkness.
Mhm.
Um, and my favorite one is Yamantaka, and he just looks so fierce, and there's all the dark stuff in the imagery. And they, at the end of the year, they have the Yamantaka ceremony where people write on pieces of paper, like what their darkness is, what their anger and jealousies, etc. And then they have this big fire, and I'm sitting there and praying that the Rinpoche is not going to be burned up, because this these flames are coming up in front of him.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and so the saying is that Yamantaka takes all that negative stuff and spits it out as empathy and
Yeah.
compassion.
Yep. Yep. I mean, that makes so much sense, right? That's what the historically, like, I'm going to use the word shamans, but beings that they would absorb, or gurus, they would absorb that negative energy, or the non-helpful, the discordant, whatever we want to call it, the things that are not in harmony with our unique signature vibration, and they would digest it. They would literally turn it into light.
Right,
um, and that's part of the challenge of folks that are on the planet now. There's a lot of people whose energy, they have had the years, the lifetimes of being those type of people, beings who could literally digest energies, but at this point in time we're not meant to do that through our physical body. Like,
right,
that's between spirit and the individual, right? So we can teach people to connect, but that ritual is so beautiful and so rich, of digesting the resentments and the regrets and the angers and the all of the things. Like, we have to move and those are shadow pieces,
right,
resentments and regrets. That's how I get my students into shadow pieces, right?
right, exactly. So it's been wonderful. And I'm sure we can continue this
Yeah,
conversation. And it's always a joy to be collaborating with you and sharing our thoughts and our experiences.
I agree. And then, so for the listeners, for this next piece of time, What's your magic?
Magic. Right.
Yeah. And how do you bring that authentically through, right? And so that's a feel, and like, what's me, what's not me? Like, just to take the time, like, does this feel like it's me? Does it feel like it's not me? Because we were
Right.
did a lot of things that were not ours.
Right. And it's so much of it is trying to fit into uh whatever your society is, whatever your group is. And um just accepting that you are who you are and you're a valid member of that group. It's taken me a long while to get to that point.
Yeah.
In junior high school, they just called me weirdo.
Yeah, me too. I was witchy woman, and I didn't do anything, and except for people. I could keep going on. I'm not going to go. Yeah, but
You and
it's
I could keep going on.
we could, but I mean, you're talking Maya Angelou. I belong everywhere and nowhere.
Exactly. And I always think of myself as a citizen of the earth. And I've always felt that. And so I'm at ease when I travel to different places, when I go to totally foreign places where I don't even know the culture or the language. And I mean, these are beautiful human beings.
Yeah,
It's a wonderful experience.
and you get to be more you because they haven't put anything on
They
you.
have no expectations.
Yep,
Exactly.
yep. So good. So maybe we just move through the world as if we're meeting in a new culture, and
Right.
how would we be authentically who we are, which could be like what we want to eat, when we want to sleep, very simple things.
Right.
But it's a feel. Is it a yes? Or is it a yes or no?
Right. Yeah, okay.
All right.
So to the audience, what's your magic and how to discover it? Just play with wherever you are and try to send out heart energy because that's where your magic is. What lights up? What lights you up?
I love it. I love it. All right. It's our mission. Should we choose to accept it?
Right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll see you next time.
Next time, take care.
You too. Bye bye.